Joining me today is Andru Volinsky, who's running for New Hampshire Executive Council in the District 2. Andru, I want to circle back to something that you said in the first segment. Your role, you've had a lot of relationships with history with the New Hampshire government, but mostly from suing us.
We're still friends.
Okay. You know, and I really want to pick up on the suit that I think will be in New Hampshire history for decades and decades, the Claremont suit. Yeah. You know, I think a lot of time has passed since then, but what was the basis of that suit? What was the goal originally in that suit? You know, I wonder how much has moved from fact to mythology about that suit. And so who better than you to give us a primer on what that suit was all about?
The lawsuit, the Claremont school funding suit.
And it wasn't just Claremont.
No, I represented 5 school districts, 5 pairs of tax-paying parents, and 5 school children. So we represented Claremont, Pittsfield, Lisbon, Allenstown, and Franklin. Those were the 5 Claremont districts. And it was about the state shirking its responsibility to fund what's called a constitutionally adequate education.
And that is in our Constitution now and was in it then?
Yes, we have Article 83 of the New Hampshire Constitution is a copy of what John Adams wrote for the Massachusetts Constitution, and it was designed to foster the interest of education because Adams and others realized how important education is for citizens to participate in their local communities. And so when you think of constitutional adequacy, it really is a matter of preparing the kids in school to go to the next level, whatever that happens to be for them, whether it's going to college or going into the workforce or going into the military. It's preparing them to participate in their local community after they finish school.
And that's, and according to the state constitution, and this has been adjudicated through the Supreme Court of the state, that's a constitutional right.
Right. So there are 10 constitutional decisions by our Supreme Court on the Claremont cases and a couple more in a case called Londonderry that lay this out, that explain that constitutional adequacy is really enough education to allow children to participate. The term is in the marketplace of ideas. And we're falling short again on that score. But at the time of our case, we weren't even on the map. We were the 50th in state spending on public education as a state. And that didn't mean the spending went away. It meant it was all downshifted to the local communities. And as you know, different communities have different abilities to raise revenues. And so if you're in a property wealthy community on a lake, near a major highway, on the ocean front, with a ski hill, you can raise tax revenues relatively easily. If you are a failed mill town, which is what all 5 Claremont communities were, and there was no economic development to replace the mills that had gone away, your property values were very limited.
And it's a spiral that goes down, not up.
Right. So if you have limited property values, in order to provide community services, you have to have high tax rates. If you have high tax rates, people don't move to your community. So it just becomes self-enforcing. And what Claremont said is education is a state responsibility, and as a state responsibility, the state has to pay for it. Therein lies the problem. The state refused to participate in raising funds, and it required a number of trips back to the Supreme Court to get to the point where the state was even a participant in the process of paying for schools.
But at the end of the day, no matter what happens, the citizens of the state pay for the education.
Do they pay for it fairly is the question.
I mean, so from Concord's perspective, and the legislature, the governor, the government, if it's not there, it's elsewhere. So,
right, and who Concord takes it, the legislature often takes it as a matter of who gets blamed for the need to raise the money to pay for schools. And the idea that we're all in this together doesn't exist in some circles.
And I got to stop you there because we are out of time, but we're going to continue this conversation, so please stay with us.